Trigonometry. I know, just hearing the word makes some of us want to literally run for the hills, right? But today we're going to break down the absolute basics of this fascinating topic, focusing specifically on a brilliant little tool called SOH CAH TOA. We're going to see exactly how it works, why it even exists, and how it completely transforms the way we look at the world around us. So get comfortable and let's dive right into this explainer.
Okay, Section 1. The magic of trigonometry, solving real problems.
So how exactly do we measure the impossible? I mean, think about it for a second. If you're standing at the base of a towering skyscraper, or looking way up at the peak of a majestic mountain, you can't exactly drop a giant tape measure from the clouds to figure out how tall it is. And yet we know exactly how tall Mount Everest is, right? We know the exact height of the world's tallest buildings. How can math serve as our invisible ladder to reach these impossible heights? Well, that's the exact problem trigonometry was built to solve.
Moving right along to Section 2, Anatomy of a Right Triangle, the three important sides.
Let's step into our digital classroom for a quick second and look at the absolute bedrock of everything we're doing today, the right-angled triangle. Every single right triangle has three vital sides, and we really need to know them by name. Let's start with the big one, the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is always the longest side of a right-angled triangle. It's that slanted line connecting the two ends, and it's always positioned directly across from the 90-degree right angle. Spotting this line is always going to be your first step.
Next up is the opposite side. And hey, it does exactly what the name suggests. It represents the side sitting directly across from the specific angle we're focusing on. Just imagine you're standing inside the triangle right at the angle we care about, looking straight ahead. That wall you're standing directly at? Yep, that's your opposite side.
And finally, the adjacent side. Adjacent literally just means next to. So this is the side sitting right beside our chosen angle, helping to actually form the angle itself along with the hypotenuse. This side completes the whole framework of our right-angled triangle.
Now, please don't sweat it if this sounds a little tricky to keep track of at first. What you should really take away from this is a very simple rule of perspective. While the hypotenuse is locked in as the longest side no matter what, the opposite and adjacent sides simply swap depending on which angle you're looking from. If you move to a different corner of the triangle, boom, your view changes. The side directly across from you changes, and the side next to you changes. It's all about your point of view.
All right, Section 3. Decoding SOH CAH TOA, the ultimate cheat code.
So here it is, the simple mnemonic trick that unlocks everything. SOH CAH TOA. I know, it kind of sounds like a word from an ancient language, but it's actually the ultimate cheat code for trigonometry. Once you lock in these three little syllables, you've essentially learned the whole foundation of trig. Let's look at exactly how it works.
Let's break this incredible cheat code down into its three core steps, pausing on each to reveal the mathematical magic hidden inside. First up is SOH, which stands for sine. Next we have CAH, which stands for cosine. And finally TOA, which stands for tangent. Sine, cosine, and tangent are our three basic trigonometric ratios. They're really just the mathematical relationships between those three sides we just talked about.
Looking at these formulas stacked up, the code makes total sense. Let's start with the first row, SOH. That means sine equals the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse, SOH. Now the second row, CAH. Cosine equals the adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse, CAH. And the third row, TOA. Tangent equals the opposite side divided by the adjacent side, TOA. It really is that straightforward. If you know just one angle and one side length, you just pick the ratio that fits your missing puzzle piece, plug in the numbers, and solve for the unknown.
Which brings us to Section 4. Measuring the impossible. Solving the real world.
Think back to that towering building or that giant mountain we couldn't measure directly earlier. By simply standing on the ground at a known distance away, which, by the way, becomes our adjacent side, and measuring the angle looking up, we can use the tangent ratio. We literally just plug those numbers in to instantly calculate the opposite side. That's the actual height of massive structures and mountains, all without ever leaving the ground. We use the small, measurable things around us to calculate the massive, unreachable things towering above us. It's a real game changer.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this absolutely perfect quote from our source material. Let's learn mathematics the smart way. Math doesn't have to be this massive struggle. It's really just a matter of learning those clever shortcuts, like SOH CAH TOA, that make the complex totally accessible. You now hold the foundational code to measure the unreachable. So, what impossible height are you going to conquer next?